All right, back with another one. I cleaned out all my what I had saved in my phone articles. Today is IG. Let the people speak. And let me edit this title real good. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, I'm gonna change this. Let me change this title. Let the people speak. I'm just paying this. I'm cleaning out everything because tomorrow, regular schedule programming. Well, let me see. That depends on who wins. So, but everybody got a right to vote for who they feel is the best candidate for them. I don't have a right to, if you like her, fine. If you just know that God is still in control. That's it. That's all. So I'm gonna let this stuff. This is my favorite bishop. I love him.
And I want someone to take this message directly to Donald Trump. My dear friend, focus on Jesus Christ of Nazareth, whom you have mentioned his name in some of your talks. And if you truly believe in him as you have been talking about him, then I encourage you from the bottom of my heart, it is now hanging by a thread. Mr. Trump, you'll understand what I'm saying. I don't want to say everything, but you'll understand what I'm saying. It is hanging by a thread. If you do not focus on Jesus Christ alone, America is gone, finished. The next superpower will wipe you, will wipe everyone, and it will bring total destruction. And be faithful to the Lord, because those puppets in the White House, they are there to destroy you.
Facts.
We know the elections get rigged. They play with them. But listen, Jesus knows, Jesus sees, and Jesus Christ is God in control. I pray Trump comes and wins the next election. And then I want to talk to you.
Okay, now I'm just going to through this stuff because I'm deleting everything and we starting anew tomorrow. Oh my God.
So, shout out to Be Easy and Roger Meadows for sending me this
Oh
because
no, that's too long. We won't be doing that. Okay, that's something different. Let me see how long this
always
is.
about the economy. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, a preferred inflation gauge of the Federal Reserve, rose slightly in June, according to data released Friday. President Biden reacting to the report, saying, quote, "We're going to keep building on this progress to lower costs for all Americans by expanding on our success, capping prescription drug costs, and building more homes to lower rents." Congressional Republicans have a different plan, one that would reignite inflation by giving more massive tax cuts to the ultra wealthy, while raising costs for working families by taxing all imports. Well, for more on the Biden-Harris economy, we are joined now by former Trump campaign senior economic advisor and Heritage Foundation senior visiting fellow, Steve Moore. Steve, great to have you here today.
Hi there.
No question. People were struggling under the Biden economy. Let's bring up some
shoot.
numbers to take a look. Let's first look. They rose all the way up to 9%, a peak of 9%. Now they're back down to 3%. But take a look at the costs of goods. And we've shown these graphics so many times. But look at the price of gasoline up 47%, consumer prices 19%, groceries, electricity, rent, credit card debt. I mean, so many things hitting the American public and their pocketbooks. At some point, Vice President Harris, the presumptive nominee, has to defend these numbers. She inherits these numbers. So how's that going to go?
Not only does she inherit these numbers and contribute to them, she was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate. As you know, Anita, the vice president breaks the tie when you get a 50-50 vote. Twice she did that on $3 trillion of spending bills. So she is almost personally responsible for the massive inflation that you just showed on that chart, where inflation went from, you're not going to believe this, Anita, it was 1.4% or 1.5% when Trump left office, and 18 months later, 9.1%. And so you've got now just about everything, whether it's gasoline, whether it's groceries, you have that number about rent. You know, I think those rent numbers are probably too low. Most people tell me that their rents have gone up 30, 40, 50%.
So have.
At the same time, by the way, I mean, you just talk to people on the street. People are saying they can't even afford to go to McDonald's or Burger King anymore.
Yeah.
It's too expensive.
It's almost like a gourmet restaurant now. The
Yeah,
prices
exactly.
there. But, you know, it's interesting. President Biden is still defending his record on the economy. Take a listen to what he said in his Oval Office address, and then former President Trump reacting to that. Take a listen.
Today we have the strongest economy in the world, creating nearly 16 million new jobs.
Okay, I'm going through this. I'm just going through so I can delete this stuff.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie McGrath, Senior Editor at
Matter of
Forbes.
fact, I'm not even doing that. That's too long.
Welcome back in here. Live now from Fox, I'm Andy Mack. It's a rare moment of political overlap between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, as the VP and also Democratic nominee has promised that she will work to eliminate taxes on tips to restaurant and other service industry employees. And it is very similar, albeit the same, as what Donald Trump, the former president, is saying in a promise to his supporters as well. For more on this, let's go out to Madeline Rivera with the latest.
Fair moment. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump are supporting the same policy as they try to win over service workers. Harris's pledge in her Las Vegas rally came a day after the culinary union endorsed her.
And it is my promise to everyone here, when I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America, including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality work.
Former President Trump quickly released.
I couldn't believe she said that, because Trump had been saying that. I was outdone. No original thought. Okay, anyway. Cleaning out my
It's
phone.
only been days, and Kamala's VP is already embroiled in a growing scandal over his military service. Tim Walz is facing some serious accusations of bailing on his unit before being deployed to Iraq and stealing valor when he falsely claimed that he carried weapons in combat. Watch this.
Have been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are.
Even liberal CNN couldn't bail out Walz on that phony claim.
There is a difference between being in a combat area, being involved at a time of war, and actually being in a position where people are shooting at you. There is no evidence that at any time Governor Walz was in a position of being shot at, and some of his language could easily be seen to suggest that he was. So that is absolutely false when he said that about gun rights out there.
But the most damning accusation is that Kamala's VP went AWOLs. Records show Tim Walz had retired right before his battalion was mobilized and deployed to Iraq. But a 2005 statement from his website shows that Walz knew he had a duty to go and broke that promise. He said at the time, quote, "As Command Sergeant Major, I have a responsibility not only to ready my battalion for Iraq, but also to serve if called on."
So that was one big scandal with that. He did not ever get shot at. So he lied about that.
Word just got back to me that the Indian community has weighed in on Kamala Harris, and they've decided that they're not voting for, and I quote, Scamala. Scamala or Scamala, yeah. Anyhow, let's just hear it from them.
Kamala Harris! After much self-reflection, I have come to the realization that there is one thing very Indian about you, and that is that you became the Democratic nominee without a single vote, which you pulled the biggest scam of all time. No Indian I know, from the call centers to email phishing, no Indian I know has scammed 250 million people. Not bad, Kamala. That's pretty good numbers. If you manage to actually win the election, you will have pulled off the biggest Indian scam of all time. From here on out, your new name is not Tamilto actually. It is now Scamala. Scamala Harris. Don't act like us. Don't act like us.
Beyond people, man. They're beyond.
I'm just saying, I'm going through this stuff. Then her daddy got pissed for her using identity politics because she Indian and Irish. Candace Owens exposed all of that. We talked about that. This is what her daddy said. Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. What happened? Okay, now I think I can bring it up. Okay.
You oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
Oh, my God.
You oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
And look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
Donald Harris from Jamaica, an economics professor at Stanford University, says this: "My dear departed grandmothers, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their grave right now to see their family's name, reputation, and proud Jamaican identity being connected in any way, jokingly or not, with the fraudulent stereotype of pot-smoking, joy-seeking, and a pursuit of identity politics."
If anything, regardless of who you vote for, I do hope that as a Black person, you are starting to see that you are being used by your culture, not by your intellect. You're not.
Really
changed that while he was.
The funny thing about that. So he won't debate, but he and his
Trying to get some traction for it. Among the people that were upset by it, her dad, Donald Harris from Jamaica, an economics professor at Stanford University, says this: "My dear departed grandmothers, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their grave right now to see their family's name, reputation, and proud Jamaican identity being connected in any way, jokingly or not, with the fraudulent stereotype of pot-smoking, joy-seeking, and a pursuit of identity politics." Man, that what a blast at his daughter who wants to be the next president.
No kidding. He added, and he had sent this statement to Jamaica Global Online. He said, "Speaking for myself and my immediate Jamaican family, we wish to categorically disassociate ourselves from this travesty." The campaign had no comment as of yesterday. It should be pointed out that Kamala Harris's parents divorced when she was younger, and her mother raised her and her sister.
But her father still had a big part of her life. according to
Absolutely.
report.
And even without, even beyond Jamaicans, this is the thing that I have a hard.
So that pissed off a lot of people as far as the pot smoking. I think I already did this. Okay, we're not doing that. This Angela Stanton, I love her. Donald Trump let her out of prison on the First Step Act. I love Angela Stanton.
The internet has been ablaze with video after video of people criticizing Kamala Harris, accusing her of not being for Black people, right?
Including yours truly.
And the question I have is that, like, why do so many people still believe because a person has Black skin, they're for Black people?
You know, I for the life of me, I can't get this. This is like, you know, Obama all over again. And I'll be
Facts.
honest, I think the reason is because we're emotional, right? We're not fact-based. We're more based off of emotion. We're in a day and age where people are more concerned about the racism that they're never going to be able to rid, right? Than they are about the pedophilia that's sleeping itself through our government.
Facts.
That's an issue for me. And I think that when you ask people what type of policy is Kamala Harris running on, they can't say anything. The only reason they want to vote for her is because she's Black. And then what gets me is you're telling me that I'm supposed to choose this woman just because she's Black. Well, you know, everybody's pro-Black until it's time to marry and procreate, right?
This woman is cooking. Shout out to Angela Stanton. Angela Stanton King. I heard she was going by Angela Stanton now. Shout out to this woman. She is absolutely on fire, and she's 100% correct. When I ask people that say that they're pro-Black, because I don't identify as such, I'm pro.
That's one thing, because we is not staying on this. We did Tim Walz's military record. Oh yeah, this it.
I just want to give y'all my weekly reminder, because I think I talk about this at least something just
Don't benefit Black people? No. Really be clear about that.
Now,
Kamala Harris, who is now running for the presidency of the United States, has said to y'all the following. Check it out.
Any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Say it with me. I'm not going to do something just for Black people. No. She has said that she has not backed off of that. She has not wavered from that. She has continued on pretending that Black people aren't asking for anything. And guess what? A lot of Black supporters aren't asking her for anything. But I'm telling y'all, some of y'all who said maybe you're going to ride the couch and maybe you're thinking about it, we got to start listening to these people. She's told us, I'm not going to do nothing just for Black people. Even though she's done things for everybody else but Black people. She was there in the White House with Joe Biden. They put her over the border where they opened it wide open and let anybody and everybody want to come over here and get what there is to get. She did that. But yet she said to tell you, I ain't gonna do nothing just for you because you Black. But she run around talking about she Black. Don't you do for people who are like you? Because it's going to take Black people to get her in the office. She can't do that without Black people, but she's smug about it. Now, of course, she said that when she was running for president.
Facts. There we go. Running so I can clean out this phone. Oh, this Malcolm X. This is good. This is good about the white liberal.
I want to show y'all a clip of Minister Malcolm X in the 1960s when he was at
against Castro, against Khrushchev, against Laos and South Vietnam and all these other places all over the world. But when it comes to time to correcting the injustices that are being inflicted against Negroes in this country, Kennedy sits up there like Nero. He's fiddling while Birmingham is burning.
So as you saw there, he said basically, you know, presidents, when they go to the White House, and again, he was talking about Kennedy, they go in there on the votes of black people and they lie and promise things to black people that they're going to do for us, and then they don't, right? They do for everybody else. Well, the same thing is true here in 2024, except for black people ain't even really making no demands like that. Now, when I say black people, I mean collectively, because there's some like us, right? Us. We are asking for a check. We want reparations. We want specifics. We don't want symbolism. We don't want fish fries and greens and twerking and hot sauce. We don't want none of that stuff. We want something real, like a reparations check. We want a hate crime bill, right?
Facts. Facts. Oh, I can't wait, y'all, to clean out my phone.
What do you think is the biggest difference in thought process between voters like yourself and voters on the other side of the same skin color that cannot understand what you're talking about?
I would say a lot of voters on the other side just hear something and repeat it. People on my side, they hear something, they research it, and then they share it.
Facts.
Yeah, I feel like he did pretty good during his presidency.
So you don't mind my hat?
No, I don't mind at all.
Because I did wear my hat when I approached you. Yeah. Did you see it when I approached you?
I didn't notice it.
You noticed it?
I don't know.
And now that you see it, like, what are your thoughts? What comes to mind?
It still doesn't change me. It's just a hat, and that's something you believe in. I support you.
Thank you so much. Would you vote for him if he comes back in 2024 against Biden?
Yes, I will.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise, and today I got a great video to share with you guys. Shout out to that dude, Vinny. Link to the full video will be in the description box below. Hey, it's getting real out here. We are less than, 3 months away from the election, and the race is getting tight. The mainstream media.
The kids read and write and arithmetic skills. That will make them a productive member of society, not the nonsense that they're pushing. So with abortion, poor education, black and black crimes, our population is not going to grow.
How do you feel about the legitimacy of Kamala Harris as a candidate right now?
Well,
in terms of her record.
We just had the primary season since when did the primaries begin? Last year or something? And did she get any votes through them? No, I remember she said Tina Mills got more votes. Marianne Williamson got more votes, but they're ignored. It wasn't a democratic system. It was a backroom deal because of wealthy Democratic voters who didn't like their option, and they swore him out to replace her.
Yep. All righty. Let's keep it going.
So since I got a little platform, I'm going to go ahead and use it because a lot of people seem to be misinformed. Kamala Harris is not the better option. Don't be fooled just because she is a woman and she is of color. She is not for the people. And me being from the Bay Area and being around when she was actually running the district attorney's office, let me help you understand what I mean by that.
Uh-oh. I got a feeling that this woman is about to cook because you know what the black culture and community hates when they already got their mind made up on one thing. Don't worry. And listen, I want y'all to understand this. And I always like to link back to the content creator. So that link will be back in the description. Also, make sure you get your Teej Hanley 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. We love what Teej got going on. And then last but not least, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got some great things going in there. So if you want to...
This Anton Daniels, he's from Detroit, where I am, and I love him.
But the thing that black culture hates the most is when you start to provide truth and evidence based off of real life experience and real life understanding. So it's not just based off of emotion anymore. It's not just based off of identity politics. For this conversation, and thank y'all for sending me this, for this conversation, let's remove the entire hue of what a person's color is, race, gender. Let's just throw it all out the window and let's evaluate it based off of them being a person. Fair enough? And then we can come back and review it and see whether or not she was hitting on points or if we should throw her opinion out. Let's get to it.
Being that I am a part of the community of families that are affected by incarcerated people, I am going to go with the person who is less inclined to locking everybody up. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that they don't know if that's correct. And I seen Yandy make a post saying that a lot of that is just propaganda. Well, let me help break it down for you. Kamala Harris grew up in the Berkeley, Oakland area. She went to law school at Hastings and graduated there and started off as a district attorney in Oakland. From Oakland, she went to Alameda before she went to San Francisco. Do y'all remember in 2010, there was that big drug lab scandal with Deborah Madden and the San Francisco Police Department? I remember specifically because I had 2 cases involved in that scandal. Let me help fill you in. She was the head district attorney at the time, and right under her was a guy named Gascon, something like that. He used to be a district attorney in Los Angeles when they had that big old scandal going on with a bunch of police misconduct.
It's different when you in it, right? She said she had 2 cases tied into it.
Let me go back.
All of that was hidden from the attorneys and the judges on the cases. Do you know how it came out? It came out because Deborah Madden's family finally took it to the news. And once it became public, then Kamala Harris tried to say that she didn't know anything about it. Yes, you did. Now, keep in mind, Deborah Madden's family also reported that they had already been contacting the district attorney's office for months prior to this, before coming to the news channel, to let them know that there was misconduct going on, and they were also concerned about their family member, all of which got ignored. Now, keep in mind, she was head district attorney at the time. So how are you running an entire department and you claim to not know what's going on in your office, although that was later proven to be bullshit and that she was aware, and her colleagues gave her up on that. But
that's crazy. So now we can throw out the whole myth, and I'm gonna bring it right people in the right cases through a vetting process. She didn't go through the primary. She didn't get wiped, and this guy's life had got taken.
Okay, so now.
Here's how to find your woke friends and prove that they are lying. Okay, you ask them this question: would you rather be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man? And they're gonna say a bear, right? Because we've already done this.
He absolutely torches the anti-white leftist narrative. And also notice the relief.
Less than, they tell me I'm not good enough, and they tell me that my white brothers and sisters in Christ are my enemy. No. They are not. As a follower of Jesus Christ, Ephesians 5:11 tells me I must expose the works of the enemy. And the enemy is telling me that don't worry that I can't pay my bills, that I'm working 6 days a week this week and I'm tired. And I went to school and I have a career. I'm doing worse under this administration than in Donald Trump's administration, but I'm told to be afraid of a man who made my life better.
Yep.
How does that work? Make it make sense. During COVID, I knew more of my white guy friends that lost their jobs than me and my black girlfriends. We are the same in this country. All these Americans want the same thing. We want safety. We want prosperity. We want peace. And the Democrats keep going back and look, check it out, right? I honor my ancestors and the people who fought for us to be in this room here today. No one is discounting what my people went through, but honor them by getting past it and invoking forgiveness in this culture. I'm so tired of being told I need to be afraid. I'm so tired that I need to be told all the time that I have to vote for the Democrats who have done nothing positive for my life.
Facts.
My life is totally worse than it was during the Trump administration.
Facts.
Yet I kept having, you must vote for the Democrats. We're told this as black people since we were a child. Let's honor our ancestors by doing better and honor them, because they're rolling over in their graves hearing the fact that Kamala Harris is having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and showing our bodies as these just vessels of lust. That's not cool. These women out here are being told that Donald Trump is like their enemy, when really Kamala Harris opening up the border, look what happened to Laken Riley. She's a woman. She was a woman just like I am. No woman, black or white, wants that to happen to her. All of these people whose kids are dying, the black moms, the white moms, they all cry the same color tears.
Yes.
So let's move past this. Let's vote for Donald Trump so we can all be prosperous again. Let's get out of this fear.
All right, let me see. I already did Tim Walz. Did that. I did the cool. Oh, I get to delete all this stuff. We start anew tomorrow. However it go.
Attorney General, and before that, an elected district attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So I took on, in these roles, perpetrators of all kinds.
Kamala is working full-time to erase her record of open borders, transgender anything, high energy costs, taxes, interest rates, which are at sky levels, rising crime rates, and wars all over the world.
That was Trump and Harris at their respective rallies last night talking about.
All right, we're going to move past that. Oh, I get to.
So, hey, what's up, y'all? Today we're in the lower bottoms of West Oakland. Kamala is sort of from here, so let's go walk and talk to the neighbors. And I'm doing interviews because I have some questions for you. What you think about Joe Biden? You think he should step down?
Hey, ain't neither one of them worth a damn.
What about Kamala? She's from Oakland. What about her being president?
Oakland didn't bag her.
I feel you. Thank you, brother. What we're doing is we're interviewing people about Kamala.
Kamala, okay. Kamala?
Yeah, Kamala. I got her name on this whole time.
Is it Kamala? Kamala. I don't even know. That's bad.
So it would be something to look forward to for African American women to be able to president.
Black woman in charge.
Yes. When she initially came out, I felt like there was a lot of smiling and not enough substance.
She still got to the top.
Well,
you know,
she had Willie Brown, and she had people, powerful people helping her, I think, from what I know.
She'll make a great president, but I'm still behind Joe Biden. Yeah. You don't think he should drop out? I don't think he should drop out. He just had one bad day at the debate. So you think they're overblowing it? Yeah.
I not loving to death. But when I seen that debate, it was like something ain't right.
Do you think Biden should drop out? Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, this nigga about to get fucking, let's say, more money.
No, none of them. None of them.
They for themselves.
Yeah, you know what?
We need somebody in there that's for us. This nigga keep giving all our money to fucking Ukraine, nigga.
Right.
You said Ukraine? Yeah.
That's a middle bullshit. We ain't got nothing to do. Yeah, they come together. We don't come together. We separate.
Oh, my God.
Well, New York Congressman Mike Lawler joins me now. You know, Congressman Lawler, there are a few reasons I wanted to speak to you tonight, but the first of which was to ask you about Kamala Harris, this 24-hour period that it took her to come out and condemn this. I can tell you this. If I would have stood behind the podium, or former President Trump would have stood up after 24 hours and just condemned all hate and then put out a paper statement, it wouldn't have flown. What do you make of her response?
I thought it was embarrassing, Kaylee. You know, the fact is that Kamala Harris wants to be president of the United States. She had the opportunity to show that she could be a leader yesterday by not only presiding over Benjamin Netanyahu's joint session of Congress address, but by very clearly and unequivocally condemning in real time what we were seeing, because it wasn't just raising the Palestinian flag. You had protesters that were holding the flag of Hamas, that were spray painting Hamas on monuments in Washington, D.C. And it's frankly unconscionable that there is a growing segment within the Democratic Party that has taken on.
Oh, I can't talk to you right now.
Of supporting a terrorist organization, of repeating and regurgitating their propaganda and their hatred. And really what it comes down to, Kaylee, is this. It's not just anti-Semitism or Jew hatred. It is a hatred of America.
So this is when they were burning the flag and Caucasian guy went out there to try, but they were holding up the Hamas and Israel sign and all that, and she didn't say anything.
She has no competence with a job.
She surely is incompetent. I agree.
Biden only selected her. He said the reason I selected her is because she's a black woman. They wanted to nail down the black woman vote. So they selected Kamala Harris. He was doing that all the time, Biden. In the case of Ketanji Brown Jackson, who he nominated for the Supreme Court, she's very smart. So that wasn't what you would call an affirmative action choice. She's smart. She's a very smart black woman. Then he chose a black woman lesbian for his press secretary. She seems to be pretty stupid, and that was
she surely is, but I didn't know she was a lesbian. Not that that make any difference.
So that's the only reason Kamala Harris was selected. She has no competence. She has nothing. There's nothing there. She's a complete moron. And then what happened was, it was kind of funny. So the Democrats want to get rid of Biden because he's a corpse. And he's an embarrassing corpse now because the totalitarian PR machine of the Democratic Party couldn't conceal it any longer. It was just out there.
I agree with all that.
Let's now bring in Dan Moraine. He's the author of Kamala's Way, Aid an American Life. So you've researched and followed all of the vice president's campaign since she was running for office way back starting in 2010. In what ways do you think she's changed her style when it comes to her campaigns? And I wonder, when you think about this, sort of how has those other runs prepared her for this moment?
Well, first of all, she's always run as an underdog. She ran as an underdog when she ran for district attorney in 2003. And she ran as an underdog when she ran for attorney general statewide first time in 2010. And she won both times. And, you know, the Harris who I've seen on television, I haven't seen her in person until today, is the Harris I remember. I mean, she's out there. It seems like she's having fun. She's smiling a lot. She's laughing on occasion. And she's really tough, too. It's kind of the Harris who I recognize from her campaigns in California.
Yeah. And you've said that she's been underestimated in the past. Do you think that's happening again?
Well, you know, people who have underestimated her end up losing. So if, you know, I mean, I don't doubt that former President Trump has a strong campaign team around him. I doubt they're underestimating him. She's a formidable campaigner. She's charismatic. She comes into a room, she lights it up. She's got a big smile. And her policies are pretty interesting, right? I mean, I'm hearing her go back to her roots, which is to be a prosecutor. When she ran for DA in San Francisco, she ran to the right of the incumbent. The San Francisco Chronicle endorsed her under a headline that said Harris, for law and order. You know, she was kind of a tough prosecutor.
Wow, I can't even believe it. Maybe I have underestimated her because I can't see it.
Joining us now, former GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy is with us. All right, Vivek, let's get your take. Greatest contributor to the Democratic Party is the media. We have Kamala and Tim in their own words. It is the most radical candidates to ever run on a major party ticket for the presidency and the vice presidency in this country. And yet they go completely unvetted. They have a media that is compliant, an extension of their press office. Your reaction to it, and how does the Trump campaign deal with that challenge? It's a challenge.
Look, part of this, Sean, is the consequence of the fact they laid a trap for us. And the trap was this. Joe Biden was the nominee, such that for the last 18 months, Republicans have focused our financial and political capital on attacking Joe Biden when he's not the nominee. But because the press is the one that criticized Biden in that last month, here's what they've done. They've banked some artificial credibility with the public. I've talked to many independents across the country, and their main pushback on the idea that the media is biased is the fact that, no, they were just criticizing Biden as recently as last month. So in some ways, we were led into that trap, and now it's up to us to find our way out of it. Here's that path, Sean. I think that we would make the same mistake again by just obsessing over the candidates instead of following a 3-word formula to win this election. Focus on policy. Focus on our own vision for this country.
Facts. Policy.
I've not heard you answer a very specific question that's been asked, which is, are you willing to ask the White House to conduct an investigation by the FBI to get to whatever you believe is the bottom of the allegations that have been levied against you?
The FBI would gather witness statements. You have witness statements.
I don't want to debate with you how they do their business. I'm just asking, are you willing to ask the White House to conduct such an investigation? Because as you are aware, the FBI did conduct a background investigation into you before we were aware of these most recent allegations. So are you willing to ask the White House to do that? Say yes or no, and then we can move on.
I've had 6 background investigations over 26 years.
Sir, as it relates to the recent allegations, are you willing to have them do it?
The witness testimonies before you, no witness who was there supports that I was there.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a no, and we can move on. You have said in your opening statement, you characterized these allegations as a conspiracy directed against you. I'll point out to you that Justice Neil Gorsuch was nominated by this president. He was considered by this body just last year. I did a rough kind of analysis of similarities. You both attended Georgetown Prep. You both attended very prestigious law schools. You both clerked for Justice Kennedy. You were both circuit judges. You were both nominated to the Supreme Court. You were both questioned about your record. The only difference is that you have been accused of sexual assault. How do you reconcile your statement about a conspiracy against you with the treatment of someone who was before this body?
Maybe she is stronger than I gave her credit for. I'm trying not to be biased. So now they saying Tim Walz is financially illiterate. He owns no stock, bonds, or real estate. Oh.
What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com.
The next 4 years, you have the same politics that'll promise you the same exact thing. We're going to cut down Texas. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then you won't see shit happen. Yeah. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
No, you can say it. You can talk however you want to. I'm with
you don't see anything happen. It's the same. Like, for me, after 20 years, like, you can only keep touching a fire before you realize it's hot and don't touch it anymore. You got to learn, you know? Yeah. And then you learn how much your vote really matters and if it's actually important. And when you learn about the Electoral College and the popular vote and all that stuff. Yeah. So then you start to see, should I stand in line for 8 hours to vote or not? Yeah. So.
See, you was all acting shy, and you over there digging it, talking your talk. All right,
I'm on a different level. So
I appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Good night. Gotta go. Whatever you do, vote your heart. Vote policy. Have a good one. That's it for me. That's it for me until tomorrow. I might have some more stuff to say, but right now, I'm deleting all this stuff.